Hello, everyone, and welcome to League Review. I'm your host, William, and sorry about yesterday. I missed the NA podcast. I was sort of feeling better compared to my LPL podcast. If you watch that, you know I was pretty sick. I'm still I'm super congested right now, so I apologize if I'm coughing a bunch during this podcast, or just like in general, or if I sound stuffed up right now. But my sore throat's gone, so I can actually talk. On Sunday, as you can tell, I could barely talk at all. Yesterday I could talk, but I just fell asleep at like 7 p.m. and got woke up at like midnight. You know, like when you're sick, you just kind of just lay down and you're out. Kind of happened, and then at midnight I'm like, well, not enough time to, or it's like too late to do the podcast now. Brock and Brian had already gone to bed, and so we're gonna do the NA podcast on Thursday alongside the EU podcast because it's Rift Rivals anyway, so we don't have to make any predictions. So we're just gonna go briefly over the match history for both of them during the same podcast, and then go straight into Rift Rivals. So that's what we're gonna do instead. But today is the LCK podcast, so if you only listen to that one, you don't care about that information. So excuse me. Let's get right into week number three's recap, and then power rankings, and then predictions as well. The first series was SKT versus Damwon Gaming. SKT started out the series very strong with a 1-0 start. Teddy had a really good Kalista. It was mostly Mata, though. Mata making those plays on Lux. This early kill at about 2 minutes, right in the laning phase, was just a nice, easy snipe by Mata. Got the the binding down, instant kill, or binding down a few spears into what's his face? Not Teddy. Teddy did that into nuclear, and then he was dead. And Teddy got the first kill, and they kind of steamrolled off of that. No, I can't say steamrolled. They steamrolled in the Korean sense, if it's still slow game. But they got the Ocean Drake pretty early on, 5-minute Ocean Drake. They were able to repeat that with an Infernal Drake. So even though they were only up like 200 gold, they were up 2 Drakes, which is very important, especially early Ocean and then even Infernal for scaling for the Azir and Kalista in Aatrox. And then, as you can tell, a few skirmishes, they lost and won and lost right here. Made the gold league go back and forth up until the Baron, where they were able to get the Baron, get the kills, and get towers, and immediately end the game off of that. Very clean game for SKT. However, it did not last long because in game number 2, Damwon just absolutely destroyed them. This was no, this wasn't it, but there's one game I'll bring up. But this was with the Karthus with Damwon just absolutely destroyed. Like, as you can tell, they had every objective, every kill. SKT didn't get on the board until 20. They were getting perfect game until 22nd minute mark, and even before that, they gave up an Infernal and a tower, and then eventually they just lost this game. This was just a huge blowout by Damwon all around. Didn't like the Lulu pick necessarily. You don't really have much damage as a whole here until super late with Lulu, Sona, and Pyke. There's not a ton to. I just don't like the team comp whatsoever, personally. I think this is giving Karthus free time to scale, and and same with Sivir. Next game was kind of a nail biter for a bit. SKT was winning for quite a long time. They had this huge ace of. This was a huge team fight, 9 deaths. Like this was an LPL game, honestly. It was a pretty exciting game. In this team fight, we had Nogri popping off, getting triple kill, and 4 deaths in total, and Khan popping off for SKT, getting the triple kill for him, and eventually he was able to take down Nogre at the end. This was 5 for 4, and even SKT after that was able to get an Infernal as well, following up with all the stuff that they got, as you could tell. But, sorry, they gave up the Baron, as you could tell, and another Baron. They gave up both Barons, and it just, Showmaker just popped off on the Vlad, 6-2 and 6. In late game, Vlad with Infernal, and even with Baron buff, and just was too much for the team fighting purposes of Damwon. And Nogri was also popping off on Aurelia. Aurelia and Vlad are just really 2 good team fighters. And Klid and Faker were never really on the same page, as you could tell. They were 0-5 and 1-4. And if you don't have that combo going, you've really lost a lot of your combos here. I'm going to try and make it a little quicker because my voice, even though I don't have a sore throat, the congestion still makes it kind of a... Sorry about that. But as you can tell, the congestion and the coughing is still there. So this was Jin Air versus KZ. I do want to just briefly talk about this. It was a 2-0, but Jin Air fought in these games, and I was very happy with how they performed. As you could tell, they had a good early lead for 16 minutes and then eventually lost it. But they definitely tried, and you could tell even by the kills, it was like 11-11, 13-9. They were very, very close in these games. They just kind of got outclassed eventually by Kingzone. So I was proud of Jin Air for that series, even though it was a 2-0. Griffin just absolutely stomped KT, as you could tell in this game, and in this game as well, just huge blowout. KT just does not do good against Griffin the last two splits. Especially this game, we had Viper playing the ADC Pike with the Yumi, went 6-2-7. It was pretty awesome. Just absolutely destroyed Prey and Snowflower in the bot lane, and just all around they were getting destroyed in both games, really. Next, we had Genji versus Hollow Life. The first game, Genji absolutely blew him out. Ruler was just dominating on that Kalista, even though they gave up the early Infernal, which I thought was going to be really good for a team with Zoe, Aatrox, like all damage here, essentially. And I know I said like Pyke last game wasn't, or like a few games ago wasn't damage, but it was in the sense that you had Lulu and Sona as well. That you don't want Pyke as your main damage dealer necessarily. But this is just like when you put in a Zoe and a Lucian there for that extra damage, it really makes this comp all about damage. So I was really impressed with this early Infernal by Helm of Life. Unfortunately, it did not pan out for them whatsoever, because after that they did get a Rift Herald and a tower, but after that they only got 4 kills for the rest of the game, while Genji kind of just curb stomped them. Ugh. Next, they did come back though in the second game and just absolutely destroy Genji. Got that very early Infernal again. Got 2 of them this time before the 11-minute mark, and that's maybe they needed 2 of them last game to get it rolling, because that's what they did this game. Got those 2 Infernals, and they never took their foot off the gas, because they just absolutely were just so much damage with Zoe and Civ. Like again, full damage comp again with 2 Infernals by 12 minutes is just, you're not gonna give Peanut enough time to scale on that Karthus when you're facing that. And Olaf just destroys Karthus so much early. I don't like the pick in general for Genji. However, Genji did come back and win, absolutely destroy Game 3, as they only gave up 1 kill. Almost a perfect game. If Kuve wouldn't have died to freaking Key here for no reason, they would have been a perfect game now. They still got Windrake and Tower for that, so it wasn't that bad of a deal. But yeah, they ruined the perfect game. This was just a clean series by Genji, and Genji has had a sneaky 4-2 start, by the way. I was kind of shocked when I saw that over here, that Genji is actually in 4th place. I had not realized that they were. I know they won both times this week, and that's kind of why. But it didn't dawn on me until I was doing my power rankings today that, oh wow, Genji is in 4th, tied for 3rd. Shocking, and only 1 game out of 1st, which again, same. I knew Damwon was doing really well, because they were pulling off some big upsets. Next, we had Sandbox versus Afrika. This was a fantastic series, by the way. The first game, even though it was kind of a blowout in Sandbox's favor, a lot of skirmishes back and forth that were really close. Even though it constantly is a gold lead, Sandbox was always getting slight edge in every one of them. We had the fancy Dove with on Lucian mid, which is a very good counter to Talia, because he can just dash right out of that knockback, or knockup, I should say. And we had Ghost and Joker on the Yumi server, which is always a disgusting combo. Also, Sejuani top. They had a bunch of stuff going on for Sandbox. And we even had Kane as well. So it was a really, really interesting game, to be honest. And even though it was a 14k gold lead at the end, it was one of those games that felt closer than it was. Sorry. Forgot to mute. This game was all Afrika, though. This is game number 2. We had Aiming and Senin on the Varus Nautilus, one of my favorite bot lanes, personally playing. Not necessarily the best in meta, but definitely one of my favorite. Where the Nautilus keeping people CC'd with the Varus CC with his ult is just such a good combo, and it just really showed this in this game. Even though they didn't get many kills early, they got a triple kill at the 15-minute mark, and that was not even against either of their lane opponents. So they just survived the lane against Sivir and Yumi, and that's all you need to do with that, because the amount of oppression they bring. Keen brought out the Rumble, and it was a really cool idea, I thought, but it just really did not work, even though they still won. Went 1-4-9. This game was mostly about the Varus and Nazir in the backline. And just in general, like, Dread had another phenomenal game as well. On Fleek had a pretty bad driving game. However, game number 3, also, the whole series was great, but this is where we had Sandra mid again. We had on fleek on the Aatrox jungle. It would be a little spicy. We also saw the Silas mid, even though he's been gutted. I didn't like that pick whatsoever, personally. And it showed pretty early on. I thought that even though he died, he only died one time. He was 2-1 actually. 2-2 by the 14, 15 minute mark. I just thought that he was getting just out pushed by Lysandra, who even got her push nerfed. I just thought that he just wasn't great enough pressure because of the amount of nerfs he got. He's getting buffed in the next patch though, so he should be fine again. But in this patch, he shouldn't be playing Silas right now. It's my personal opinion. Uh, yeah, Summit, great game on the Jace, almost full build, even though this was only a 36-minute game. And they got the Elder at the end and killed everyone in the process. Man. Again, sorry for my voice. It seems to be failing me. I haven't talked as much since I got the cold. I thought I'd be fine. Ugh. Okay. Damwon versus Kingzone. Damwon just absolutely stomped Kingzone in the first game. It was all about Showmaker on that Corki, I thought, and even Nuclear on Sona. But I just, and I guess even Nogri on Jace, I just always remember. I didn't realize Nogri had done that much damage personally. I remember when I was watching it, it felt like the late game fights were really being decided by Showmaker's damage on Corki. But now that I look back, it's Nogri was getting a lot of kills as well, so it makes sense. Kingzone did come back in game number 2. Hang on one second. Sorry about that. I just felt my nose being completely clogged. Kingzone did come back in number 2 though. In game number 2 with Nahon pulling out his own Jace after seeing Nogri do it. He's like, I could do that. That could do it just as good. And he did. And Rascal pulled out the Vlad as well. And that was quite strong. As well as that. Man, I am struggling right now. I apologize. And Def also had a great game on the Zaya. So it was a pretty big throw, honestly, by Damwon. They should have won this game, as you could tell. They took that Baron, and then they had an 8k gold lead even at one point. 7k gold lead. But eventually, a few team fights, and they just look at, as you can tell, after they took this inhib, they lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 team fights in a row and lost the game. I'm going to go quick through these because I am losing my voice. Damwon Gaming versus Kingzone. Damwon Gaming absolutely destroyed it. This one with Nogri at 7-1-8, Showmaker 6-0-10, Nuclear 4-1-6. It started out pretty even, but once we got into about the 15-minute mark, this was just all team fights all the time. Showmaker played out of his minds, and Showmaker and Nogri played completely out of their minds. Fantastic upset, honestly, for Damwon and for me, flaming them pretty much at the beginning of the season for playing really bad, honestly. They started out 0-2, and I think they are, let's see, yeah, they started out 0-2, and they've won their last 4 series since then. So I thought they're 0-2. I think I put them as one of the worst teams actually at their 0-2, like in maybe 9th place team. But instead, they have absolutely turned it around. They got it together. They were looking really bad in those the first week, but since then they've been amazing. Next was Griffin versus SKT. Honestly, SKT completely threw this game at both elders. As you can tell, they took this Elder Drake. This one was good. Moved it from a 4k Griffin lead to a 500 gold lead. I say SKT threw this even though Griffin had the lead, but it was this Elder Drake that they took, but then they just engaged with the Elder Drake buff instead of retreating, even though they were pretty low from the amount of poke they were taking originally. And then they killed Tarzan, and Tarzan just used his ult and half health all of them, or killed some of them. I think he killed 2. No, he killed 1 and half health the rest, and then the rest of Griffin just immediately killed SKT. Took the inhib, took 3 towers, and just won the game. It was really confusing engage by SKT. And even before that, even though they were down a bit, second Elder Drake, if they would have just reset with it, probably would have won them the game. It's a very disappointing loss, and I was so confused why they engaged on it. Second game, though, it wasn't close at all. As you can tell, Griffin never lost the lead. Only a little bump was dropping from 3.9k gold lead to 2.5k gold lead after giving him 2 kills. But on those 2 kills, they still got an Infernal, so it wasn't that bad of a drop. Chovy played out of his mind on the Talia. SKT actually played Gory instead of Faker. I wonder if Faker was so tilted from the first game. Don't know. Effort also came in for Mata as well, and SKT dropped this game for dropping the series 2-0. SKT is now in ninth place by themselves at a 1-5 record, five series losses in a row. And the only series that they won was against Janair, and they honestly shouldn't have won that if we all remember from week one how Janair actually threw that first game by about 10k gold lead against SKT and then won the second game. So like their SKT should honestly be looking at an 06. They should be 06 instead of Janair realistically if Janair doesn't throw that game. Now I guess I can't really say that because of how bad Janair always throws games, so I should expect that, but not good. Not good. Like SKT can almost kiss worlds goodbye if they can't make the playoffs this split. But not only that, if they will. Can you imagine if SKT drop? I guess they're T1 now. I shouldn't be saying SKT, but it says SK Telecom still here. But T1 goes to relegations. That would be insane. I don't think that'll happen yet. I'm gonna make that bold prediction just yet. I guess we're not doing that match history. But game number 2 was Hanwha Life versus Janair, and Janair, even though it was 6-5, they weren't close in this game. By the way, they weren't close in the first game. That's why they didn't want to show us that match history. Very like how I respected Janair for their losses against Kingzone because they fought really hard in them. They absolutely did not fight hard in that Hanwha Life. That was old Janair I'm used to, where they kind of just give up the game after a little bit of an early game negativity, and then just like they drop to a 2K gold lead and then do nothing and lose their Nexus eventually. Next was Gen G versus Afrika. Gen G, as you can tell, huge upset, completely crushed Afrika. 14-1, only gave up 2 towers, almost a perfect game, honestly. And yeah, just Afrika did not look good at all this week because they got swept 10-1. They only got 2 kills and 3 towers this whole series against Gen G. Gen G, this is the series that I realized, oh, Gen G is actually pretty good this split. Peanut's playing really well. Cuvée is playing really, really well, I think, this split. And Ruler, of course, is carrying through the bot lane like he was before. What the heck was that? I think that was on my desk. That scared the shit out of me. We did see a Lich Bane Silas, though, and that's my favorite thing to notice. It went 0-2, but that's because how come it's when Silas gets gutted, they finally pull out the Lich Bane? I want to see it when he's not gutted, please. Sorry, almost done. KT with the huge throw here against Sandbox. They showed, as you can tell, they were winning every team fight, every tower. They were getting dragons, towers, everything they wanted. Thought this game was over, and then they threw a team fight, gave up a Baron, threw another. No, I guess they, and that Baron included with this Sandbox team with Jason LeBlanc and Lux. They were able to push out because they have no wave clear outside of Vizier here, and they were able to push out and get all the way up to the next Baron, get some towers, get another team fight, get the Baron, end the game. This was a complete throw by KT. It was very, very embarrassing, to be honest. Game number 2, they did not throw, however. They just absolutely destroyed, as you can tell here. And finally, sorry for rushing, but my voice is going. Game number 3 was all about Sandbox again with the Sona Pike, 5-0-4, 6-2-4. KT was actually in this game. I thought this game was really close until the very end, honestly. I mean, it was only 2.9k gold lead by 24 minutes and stuff like that, all the way 27 minutes in just this last final team fight. KT lost it. KT actually did take a Nexus tower here, as you can tell. They were at 27 minutes. This one right here it was a Nexus tower, and it looked like KT would have been in full control because they got that off of when Sandbox was going for this Baron here. They got the Baron, but they lost the Nexus tower for it. And KT was trying to hold their backs to try and win, but eventually it just was too much as Sandbox, even though Dove had 0 kills, he had... Wow, I just realized they had like almost 0 damage as a team. Sorry again. Ugh. I did not realize that until just now that they only had 30k damage as a team. You don't see that too often when someone finishes a 30-minute game at 7k damage and he's actually leading the team. This game was, like I said, they were winning the whole game. Did not feel like they were winning the whole game, to be honest. It felt like KT had full control. They kind of blew it, in my opinion. Even though I know the gold lead says different. Ugh, I'm sorry. It kind of explains how I kind of like fell asleep yesterday though, and wasn't able to do the podcast of how I am today, and I'm feeling much better today than I was yesterday. And yesterday I was feeling much better than Sunday, so just a cold, And luckily it's not the flu like I thought it might have been on Sunday, but it's just annoying to do to deal with. Week 4 power rankings, Sandbox I still think is the number 1 team in Korea. Still, they played excellent this week with their victories over Afrika and KT. Griffin, even though they didn't really deserve the one against KT. Griffin also 2-0 this week, 4-0 in series or in games. Damwon with their upsets, actually I've moved them all the way up to number 3. Kingzone dropped to number 4. Genji moved all the way up to number 5. They're on my radar now after that huge upset over Afrika. I did not realize they were actually had won all their games to make it up to 4 wins. Afrika after an 0-2 week drops to number 6. K3 number 7. SKT's dropped all the way to 8. I can't put them at 9 yet, just because I think just as a team they're better than Hanwha and they haven't faced Hanwha yet. But it's definitely on my radar here. And Jin Air, of course, is number 10 because they still haven't won a series yet. Still only have 1 series win since I've been watching LCK. Do you realize how much I enjoy watching Jin Air when they won 1 of 27 series or 25 series? Not much at all. So with that, let's quickly go into our... No, what am I doing? We just do copy and paste here on this podcast. I didn't get those points in. This is going to be week number 4. Delete. Okay, I actually have not made my predictions yet, so we're going to be doing them live here today. So first up, Genji versus Sandbox. This is actually a really good game that I did not expect to be. I'm actually going to go the upset. Genji impressed me enough with their win against Afrika that I actually think they're going to take in Sandbox kind of struggled a little bit against KT. That I think Genji is going to pull an upset here and be 2-1. So we're starting out the week strong with an upset. I don't pick many upset picks, especially in Korea, because they don't actually happen too often in Korea. Surprising. They do happen, but not nearly as much as best of 1 leagues like LCS and LEC. Well, yeah, we're starting out strong with an upset over Genji. Not upsetting Griffin versus Jin Air, though. I know I said I'd eat my shoe if SKT lost to Jin Air. I'm not going to make the same prediction against Griffin just because of how close SKT came to actually losing to Jin Air in that first week. Though in hindsight, I did not realize that SKT that would be their only win on the year so far. Next, Afrika versus Damwon. I think Damwon is going in the right... This is another very fantastic game. But I think that Damwon Gaming is going in the right direction right now with that 2-0 week, and Afrika is going in the wrong direction. Honestly, Damwon's on a 4-0 winning streak right now. They've won all their games the last 2 weeks. So I think even though I like what Afrika's done this year compared to last year, I think that 2-0 week, I just think Damwon's the hotter team at the moment. SKT versus KT. Tough series. KT coming off 2 massive throws against Sandbox. And then they went 0-2 this week. KT does not look like the super team that people thought they would be recovering from with bringing in Prey. They are now 2-4 in the year. SKT's 1-5. I'm giving SKT my last lifeline for them. If they can't make this up, I don't know. This week, I should say. 2-1. I did not mean to put 2-0. SKT should be able to beat KT 2-1 if they... This week is like the final... Well, no. Never mind. I was thinking they played Hanwha this week, but they don't. Next, Kingzone versus Hanwha Life. Should be Kingzone. Hanwha Life can never beat the teams above them very well. I think that'll be an easy 2-0 for Kingzone. Jag versus Sandbox. That's obvious. Sandbox 2-0. Not Jin Air. It's another 2 games that they cannot win. They'll start the season 0-8. Genji versus SKT. The way Genji's playing, if I think they can beat Sandbox, I think they can beat SKT. I think they beat SKT 2-0. I think that. SKT looks like a mess, and even substituting out Mata and Faker in that second game of Griffin gives me some very concerning red flags. Like, red flags are everywhere with this team right now. I am super concerned they will not make playoffs. I don't think they'll be relegated like they would be at the moment, but I do not. At the moment, I'm starting to really believe they will not make playoffs, even though they're only 3 games out. They just look like a complete mess. They look like the worst team coming out of MSI. At least IG sort of got it together. Team Liquid's gotten it together to get the first place again in NA, and G2 has been totally fine. Not in first place, though, because of Fnatic. KT versus Afrika. This is both coming off tough weeks. I think Afrika should be able to take down KT, though. I don't believe as much as other people do in KT. I did at the beginning of the year, but from what I've saw honestly, Smeb and Score are just not. They're not the players they were even just a year ago. And Prey is still, even though he's been doing really well, I think Snowflower, for as much as I really liked him before, even when I saw him on, was it Turkey? On Supermassive, I believe. He's not playing to the high standards of the LCK, which frankly looks like one of the worst regions out of the major regions. To be honest, LCK does not look strong. Like, I know it's like Korea and stuff, but like, if I gotta be brutally honest with you, I think they, weirdly enough, I know I'll get flamed for this, they look about as good as NA does, personally. That's how I see the LCK. I think Sandbox looks pretty well. We have a few, like Griffin looks pretty decent, but I think Team Liquid right now could go toe to toe with Griffin. Just they don't look as unbeatable as they did in Spring Split to me. I think it's really weird. I know I flame me away for that one, for that bold statement, but I really do believe that talent-wise, the LCK is about as strong as NA. And the moment tied for fourth best region, major region. LPL and the EU are way above it. Next, after that hot take, let's finish up this with Damwon Gaming versus Hanwha Life. Damwon again. I never pick Hanwha Life when the team is ahead of them in the standings. They just don't win. Damwon 2-0. Finally, Kingzone versus Griffin. Definitely game of the week. I think this one will be really good. I actually have Kingzone upsetting Griffin in this one. I think this is a solid upset. I think that Death will be able to. Oh man, Def will be able to pull off the upset against Griffin by carrying both games, and especially it's not only Def. Def, to be honest, we also have Nehan. I had to bring his name up because don't know how to say it off the top of my head, but Nehan in the mid lane has had a fantastic week. I think he could actually, or a fantastic year. I think he could go toe to toe with Chovy. Look, Kingzone in a tight 2-1. My arrow key just fell off my keyboard. That's weird. That's great. Anyway, that will be our podcast. I know I was still pretty short, only 30 minutes, but tried my best, as you can tell. I'm still trying to recover. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. So 1, 3, 3, 9, 12, 15, 16, 17. So we had a 17 out of 30 here. Not bad. Our best week so far. But yeah, that will be our podcast. Thank you guys for watching. Tune in for the LMS and tomorrow at 10 p.m. around 10 p.m. on Twitch or on YouTube. But possibly, as long as I'm feeling, I should feel better. I just might not be able to talk as much. And then we have, of course, the NA and LEC podcast Thursday, which will also be our Rift Rivals podcast, as well as Friday we do the wild card, and then we'll probably do. I don't know if we're doing Rift Rivals. We might just do Rift Rivals on Friday and leave it at that. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Hang in there if you're sick like me. Good night.